Hello everyone! Welcome back to another multiplayer match with me and SurrealBeliefs in this 2v2. How's it going, Surreal?
It's going pretty well. It's very white though, very snowy. I'm not a huge fan of it.
Yeah, we are in the far north in this battle, and I'm going to quickly go over my army composition. I have a line of basic dwarf warriors, backed up by 2 longbeards, one of which has a great weapon. Then I have a iron drake, because I wanted to try them out. This is the first time even playing them. And then I have correlers with great weapons, specifically a dwarf lord, a runesmith, and then 1 group of iron breakers, which I'm also currently trying out in this one match. What is your composition?
Okay, let me go look at it real quick as we begin to set up over here. I brought in Demigryph Knights because I love them and they're very effective for their cost. I mean, they can charge in, they can take out large creatures if they have the halberds and all that. I usually bring in Great Cannon because they're very cost effective, and I bring them in not because I like to play defensively, but because it makes my foe charge forward. Often people that we fight bring in artillery and they want to stay back and make me go to them, which is fine, but I want to be able to make sure that I can shoot back. I brought in my halberdiers, and I always bring in quite a bit of those. Spearmen are not worth your time at all. I mean, if you want to bring them, it's got to be like some leftover thing that you want. Swordsmen are definitely better. Now, I brought in a few great swords for armor piercing, and of course, they are anti-infantry. I brought in a bright wizard, and of course, I brought in good old Carl, because Carl's great. I love Carl. And beyond that, I brought in very cost-effective handgunners, who are my favorite. I mean, pretty much, whenever I'm playing as the Empire, I really do not change up my build too much. Here's my favorite build of all time. I find it to be very effective and a lot of fun to use too.
Handgunners are very impressive. I really do enjoy them. So yeah, you're teaming up against the enemy Empire player, and I have my ancient rival of the Greenskins. And I remember I was originally I was going to push up and meet the Greenskins out in the open, but then I kind of saw that the conflict between you and the Empire player was going to start off pretty quickly. So then I just decided to be a dwarf and hold up on your right flank, kind of around those group of trees on your right side there.
Right.
And really not much happens between me and the Greenskins for a while. We just kind of look at each other. The main fight is definitely between you and the Empire player here.
Which is pretty curious because more often than not, it's usually your opponent that charges right in, and then I have to be the one to go dance with my foe, which has happened a lot. But yeah, here, he's got a mortar in the back that I could never quite reach, and it ends up getting a lot of kills, and quite annoying. Mortars really do not do a lot. They can kind of like mess up your formation, but when they're allowed to just shoot the entire time, it does get pretty rough. On my left flank over here, I've got my Demigryph Knights with halberds, and I want you to watch that charge. If I remember right, it's actually incredible. Now, a halberd is anti-large and very effective. Let's check out that charge real quick. And I won.
Wow. I didn't see that in the fight. That is insane.
I also buffed them up, but yeah, they completely won. They're gone. I beat them in the very beginning, and they're not cheap to buy, so that player lost a very expensive group. Immediately.
That was a beautiful sight. A beautiful sight. Those poor Demigryph Knights.
Now I'm beginning to shoot at him. I want to find out what my Bright Wizard did. I know that I did cast a spell, but it ended up killing so many that it blew my mind. Okay, I'm beginning to cast it right now. I'm shooting the Great Swords. Okay. It was a mixture of my handgunners and my spell. Gotcha. There we go.
And it was at this point that the Orc player sent in their cav to try and disrupt my lines a little bit, and also try to get to your Great Cannon. And I did my best to try and protect your Great Cannon, but, well,
actually,
it's unfortunate.
They did get a pretty good charge off, but I think that it might be okay. I can't really remember. I did have 2 Great Cannon, but I didn't even have a great place to shoot from, so it didn't really matter too much. I couldn't quite hit them. 1, because of the hills. 2, because of the trees, too. All right. Also, I did find out that my Bright Wizard did cast a spell that went right through a handgunner group, remained there for a little bit, so nearly completely wiped them out. It was actually really good. That mortar, though. Oh, man.
Yeah, that's just non-stop. I also remember as the Empire player was marching towards your lines, I set a couple correlers to go shoot at them at their left flank here in a bit. Because again, the Greenskin player just didn't really know what to do about my defensive situation.
Right. Here we go. Great Swords are charging out to go fight their Spearmen, which again, I view as trash, and I broke 1 Great Sword group. I remember beating him very well in the very beginning, but I was telling you during the match, it was actually very hard for me to see because of all that white snow. It's just kind of, when you're zoomed out, it's a little bit blinding. I'm not a huge fan of it. Not to mention, my guys are also wearing white. A lot of white.
Yeah. It's kind of like the tree situation. I hate fighting in trees. Even with the foliage turned off, I still not a huge fan.
Now, in the very beginning, he brings in a lot of great swords, and I see a lot of Imperial players doing that. It's a really bad idea. They hit hard, but they're meant to be used as a fine, precise tool. You're not meant to spam them. If you try that, you'll probably lose the battle. I mean, he probably does end up getting a lot of kills, but it's really not worth your time.
Yeah, because don't they have very low melee defense as well?
If I look at it, 29, yeah, pretty low.
Yeah, they're kind of like Nodachi Samurai from Shogun 2. They're great chargers, but they're not meant to be a core at all, like you said.
Unfortunately, I apparently let him charge my handgunners. My halberdiers on the left flank took a lot of damage from that mortar. Of course he did. And I think at the point I'm at now, I was a little bit too low on magic. I'm at 15, but yeah, not a lot of magic to do more. But I did use my Bright Wizard quite a bit. They're actually pretty good. He got like 25 kills, which is actually not too bad for a spellcaster. Okay, we're charging in now.
Their spells also look super flashy.
Very flashy. I was actually a very good Bright Wizard in Warhammer Online in PvP. I was very, very good. I don't brag about my skill in PvP games outside of being a jokester, but I was actually very, very good at it.
It was a great class. I
loved it.
But I enjoyed the Warrior Priest. I was the healer. I've always been a fan of the Paladins. There's still a...
Oh, sorry, go on.
I was going to say there's still basically a standoff going on here between me and the Greenskins. We're just exchanging bow fire, but my bows, I have more of them, so I'm doing more damage to him. But I think he's finally about to get ready to charge me with his cab on the flank.
My fight did not end, and I also did play a Warrior Priest too, as my main.
Oh, that's so good. Why did they turn that game off? Anyway, doesn't matter. It's in the past, but...
Now, I will say too, there hasn't been a MMO from that game where I have found these spells to feel so freaking good. For some reason, these spells were just made so well. Like, I loved them so much. Like, I just loved how every class worked. They just needed more time to work on that game. It wasn't done when it came out. It didn't have the content it was meant to have.
Yeah, because every class was super unique. Like, and the fact that it was one of the first MMOs, I think, that had the physics that where you can't move through players, so you can actually hold a choke point with like Black Orcs. It was super cool for PvP. So it looks like you are wrapping up the Empire player at this point. It looks like a lot of breaking's happening.
Right, and I went after his mortar after he began to shoot at you too. I mean, he would not quit it the entire time. Let me go check out how many kills it got. Over 50, which is enough. I mean, that's way too much. And he shot one group, so I mean, he killed a lot of one group. Now, I know that I began to break him, but he wasn't completely done. I feel like I was trying to bring my handgunners through the trees to try to help you out, but by that point, I think you had begun to wrap things up quite a bit. Oh.
Yeah, we have a full engage here. My line of Dwarf Warriors backed up by my Lord and my Rune Priest. And then my Iron Breakers, I love Iron Breakers. They're going to hold the right flank for a while here by themselves, basically.
And I also want to add in, they were able to throw in, I think, 3 throws of their satchels too, which are pretty fun.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Not always a lot of kills, but they really do mess up a formation quite well. And depending on who they're throwing them at, they can break up their leadership too. I was about to call it morale, but I forgot. Leadership, we're using tabletop terms.
Yeah, they both work.
Yeah.
People know what you're talking about. Well, hopefully.
Hopefully.
But yeah,
Those
Iron Breakers
boys.
I think are definitely worth all of the money you put into them.
Oh, whoa, that spell right in the middle messed you up. Incredible.
Yeah.
I don't know what spell that was, but man, he made you fly around. What the hell? Well, like, I'm a little bit shocked because I'm not used to spells really being that strong. I mean, like, buffs are very, very strong, but beyond that, no, they're not strong at all in terms of raw damage, but that spell did a lot of damage.
Oh, I didn't even notice you had your great cannons in the trees there, and it's actually firing down on like their Black Orcs on my right side.
That is correct.
And I'm also toasting them with my Iron Drakes.
Oh yeah.
Which looks so beautiful. I love the flamethrowers.
Which, they didn't get a lot of kills, but they are fun and they do drop leadership pretty fast, but they are very hard to use.
Yeah. And they were super expensive.
Yeah, they're not cheap at all. Like, I'm watching them shoot now, and oh, they can shoot over your dwarfs' heads and actually hit the orcs. That's pretty funny. Oh, here we go. Okay, that was worth it. Now, he did buff up his mid with a wall and stand your ground, so they're not going to break. And that's probably why he tore up your middle so much. I mean, they were heavily buffed. Now,
yeah, so that's Grimgor, right? Doing that?
Right. He's bringing in his hero from the Imperial side, Karl Franz 2 on foot. I could not take out his leader. There are some games where taking out an enemy lord is incredibly hard. Look at that mid.
Especially one like Grimgor. Yeah, my mid is starting to collapse, so I'm having to put my Quarrelers into melee now with the great weapons.
Right.
But I still got my Rune Priest, and the Rune Priest is an amazing caster, I think, for the Dwarves. They have a armor buff, they have an AoE damage spell that they have. They're pretty cool. I really enjoy having a Runesmith.
Yeah, they're very good. And I think that is why I began to come over here, because I mean, he buffed up his mid so much, and I think he debuffed you a little bit because I saw a little bit of a glow around your men that was not a Rune Priest glow, but he's finally beginning to break now. So like right after he began to break, he just couldn't do it at that point. Maybe if he was a little bit more careful with his boar boys, he would have had a better time trying to beat you, but he tried to spend them on their own, which is not what you're really meant to do. That can work from time to time, but you definitely want to use all of your arms together. And they're all beginning to break now, and we won the battle.
Yep, it was great. I really enjoyed that fight there at the end.
Let's go check it out real quick. Yeah, I had a lot of fun outside of, you know, not being able to see. My handgunner shot up his greatswords completely. My greatswords got a lot of kills. My great cannon, not as good as they often are, but again, I couldn't really see them. And let me go look at yours now.
And your Demigryph Knights, like MVP, the first charge, just instantly destroying a whole Demigryph unit. They didn't get one kill.
Incredible. Right.
Beautiful.
It was incredible. Okay, let's see. The orc player, I mean, his archers did pretty well. He brought in a lot of savage orc boar boys, which is why he probably should have used them in combined arms to fight you. But he kind of left them on their own in the very beginning. But I mean, they got their kills, but not enough to beat you. Let me go look at what you got. Your Quarrelers did very, very well. The Iron Drakes, again, cool, but I don't know if they're ever really worth it.
It's just a cool factor.
Right,
so that's all they are. That's all.
Which is also very important. I do agree with that, but we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you for watching, everyone. Check out our channels down below. And as always, until then.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care.